Our vision was to build a national association. We envisioned having it being a chapter-driven organization with the two major themes of one, providing educational programs specific to the construction industry, and two, providing a forum for which construction financial executives could meet and gather and exchange ideas. So our vision was pretty grandiose. And generally our vision was to develop a national association that would in fact be the go-to place for financial executives in the construction industry.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first CFMA Mid-Atlantic Hall of Fame. I'm Kimberly Hullfish, this year's chair of the conference, and I'm here with David Casey, the founder of CFMA, and Tony Stagliano, one of the founders of the Philadelphia chapter, the first chapter outside of New Jersey. David, what was the biggest challenge in the early years?
Well, there were a lot of challenges, but I would have to say that the biggest challenge was finding the people that were willing to put in the time and effort that was required to keep it going. We recognize that as a big risk. I mean, many associations fall apart because people just give up making the effort to keep the thing going. And we knew we had to get through that period of time long enough so that we would grow to the size where we could have staff like CFMA has today. And that would ultimately solve the problem.
And I suppose back then, being the early 80s, technology was an issue.
Technology was a bit of a challenge as well. You think back to that time, there was no internet, there was no email, there were no cell phones. Personal computers were yet to come on the market and be available to most people. Everything that had to be done then had to be done manually. I mean, that was the only way of doing things. Even accounting records were kept on a manual basis. We did have typewriters, even electric ones. And some of the real souped up versions had little whiteout tape so you could backspace and make a correction. But that was about it. Well, two people that quickly come to my mind are Al Blattel and Ben Klausner. Both of these guys were behind-the-scene type workers who spent just an awesome amount of time supporting the CFMA through its early years. Al Blattel served as the treasurer for the association for the first 3 years of the association, and Ben Klausner served as the treasurer for the fourth. And you have to remember that serving as the treasurer for the association at that time meant they did everything that was required in the back office. They wrote the checks, they balanced the books, they kept the accounts, they did the budgets, they did the forecasts, they did it all. It was effectively a second full-time job for both of these guys. So it was amazing that they were able to make that kind of contribution. Well, the person that jumps into my mind when you say enthusiasm is a construction attorney by the name of Robert Picard. He was involved in our association in the early years. He served as our pro bono general counsel, was on the board of directors, and he was a speaker at our first annual meeting and our second annual meeting, and probably most of the annual and semi-annual meetings that followed for many, many years. He's a dynamic guy and a tremendous speaker, and he definitely generated a lot of enthusiasm for the group.
Okay, and Tony, from a Philadelphia perspective, who do you think made a difference in Philadelphia?
Well, there were a number of people, as Dave pointed out, in the association, too many to even mention. Two people that came to mind was Dale Wark and then a fellow named Dave Tarditi. And they both worked for general contractors. They spent a lot of time in the association. They were there at the very beginning. They went around, as a matter of fact, Dale Wark went around with a clipboard and said, sign this, I need 20 signatures so we can become a chapter and become the first chapter outside of New Jersey. And we decided as a small group that included both of them again and a bunch of other people, Bill Maxwell, who owned Maxwell Software. And we gathered what we considered the movers and shakers in the Philadelphia marketplace. And we had a steering committee, and we said, let's see if we can make this thing work. Gordon Marshall was there from the very beginning. He was, I think he followed Bill Miller. And he was just totally CFMA, and he still is to this very day. He was involved in a lot of the formation of the educational programs that CFMA created. So without Gordon's fire, all right, in his belly, which he still has to this day, and even though he's retired, he's still a dynamic and influential person.
One person that I would definitely like to mention is Bill Miller. Bill Miller served as the second president of the association. He was the only other president to serve more than 1 year. Bill, well, speaking of magnetic personalities, he definitely is a magnetic personality and a tremendous speaker. In fact, I think he missed his calling. He could have been a stand-up comedian if he had wanted to go down that route. And there were many, many times he spoke to our group over his presidency, and he definitely got the people excited.